Hello and welcome back to Seconds Out. My name is Ayman Khan, and New Orleans is the setting April 21st for Paul Bamba's return to the ring against Chris Avila. Paul, must be good to be back. How are you doing, sir?
Doing great. I appreciate you having me back. I can't wait to get back into the ring, do my thing. It's been a long time coming.
Been a long time coming indeed. New Orleans is a little bit different to Telford, which is where you were last at. You enjoy Telford?
Yeah, it was different. It was very different, but it was very relaxing. And as far as the fights goes, the atmosphere was crazy. It was definitely like a tight knit community. So it would be nice to if I could fight somewhere like this someday. It'd be cool.
Hey, Paul, I don't know America too much, but when I hear about New Orleans, I hear it's always a party city. Do you ever have to kind of make sure that you stay away from those sort of things during fight week, so you're not kind of distracted by the bright lights or the party atmosphere, if there is one in New Orleans at that time of year when you fight, Chris?
Oh yeah, no. If fight week, I don't think about anything outside of my opponent. Even for like the past 6 weeks, I've just been just Chris, Chris, Chris. That's pretty much it. Um, that's one thing I learned in the Marine Corps, just being disciplined and you got to train how you fight. So you got to stay focused at all times.
Now we've seen quite a bit of Chris in the ring or in the octagon, wherever the fight takes place. Do you, from the scouting that you've done, the videos you've watched of him, do you particularly rate him as a fighter?
Oh yeah, no, I definitely rate him as a fighter. I don't know about a boxer. I think he's pretty one-dimensional as a boxer, but as a fighter overall, like the guy was in UFC and Bellator, you can't take that away from him. Much respect to him for that. It's just I'm not going into the mixed martial arts world. That he's coming into my world. So
When you say he's one dimensional, break that down for me. What is it about him? What gears do you see missing from his game that you're going to capitalize upon?
um, I mean, unless he threw the Dr. Mike fight, if he fights me like that, I guarantee I'll knock him out. He just leans in with his head down all the time. He's very slow. Same shot selection. It's not too creative. He's a tough guy. I know that. I know I have a fight on my hands, but he's not slick. He's not a boxer. He has to settle in before he throws his shots. He can't really punch on the move. He doesn't know how to cut off the ring. These are all things that work against you when you're boxing, or if somebody has a bit more experience. And you, by no means do I think it's an easy fight, but I think stylistically it's made for me. If I'm doing everything I need to do, I can only really beat myself. I mean, I was supposed to fight Tommy Fury. If we're going to compare Tommy and Chris, Tommy's levels above Chris. So I have to be able to show out and do my thing, or else that's just bad for me overall with how people would react to what would happen if I fought Tommy, you know?
Mhm. Now, preparing for this interview, I came across an interview between Chris Avila on Inside Fighting, and he had some interesting comments here. I don't want to get too much on your bad side, but I want to give you the right of reply. He questioned whether you were a real fighter or not, and he said that this is just an activity fight for him. Your right of reply here, Paul.
If
Uh,
he
uh,
approaches it like that, he's gonna get hurt. I don't fuck around. At the end of the day, when it comes to boxing, like it's a sport, but this is how I used to feed myself. I take everything super seriously. I like to joke around and talk a little shit on the internet, but when it gets down to it, either I'm getting knocked out or he's getting knocked out. It's not like some whatever the fuck he did with Dr. Mike. Like this is an actual fight, and if he's not training like that, if he's not coming in with the right mindset, and he's sleeping on me, he's gonna go to sleep.
yeah, well, that's the other part of the question. He also questioned your record and thinks your following is fake too. Your reply there.
Um, I think he's a bit upset that I have a good community inside the Twitter space that has been they might be a bit vocal right now. So he's a bit annoyed with that. As far as being a real fighter, I mean, I guess we'll find out on April 21st. Uh, I don't have much experience in comparison to him, so he's got me beat there. But when it comes to heart, when it comes to legitimacy, when it comes to things that I'm capable of, at the end of the day, I fight. I bite down on my gum shield and I fight. So if that's what he's thinking, then hopefully he's not taking it seriously and he's making it an easier night for me.
And then the third part of the your right reply is you mentioned Dr. Mike. Chris Avila said that Dr. Mike would beat you.
Yeah, it sounds like he's reaching a bit, and That's a doctor, bro. Like at the end of the day, I was no, and no disrespect to Dr. Mike, because I literally I respect everybody that gets in the ring, like no matter what you're doing it for. Because if you're a full-time doctor saving people's lives and you have time to actually dedicate yourself to the sport of boxing, like kudos to you, like hats off, like because it takes a lot of balls and it takes a lot of time at that. And if you have a career such as being a doctor, like that speaks volumes to how good he is. However, if we're being serious, and even John Fury said it was a 50-50 fight going in to what's his name, Tommy and myself. These guys aren't on that level. I don't think I'm perfect. No one's saying I'm gonna knock him out in the first round or anything like that. But like I said, stylistically, my style is made for him. He's not a great boxer. He is a good fighter. He's not a great boxer, and we're boxing, and all that NDA crap and the Diaz brothers and all that shit is cool, but it's only me and him in the ring, so it don't really matter to me. At the end of the day, I've been in there with some of the best boxers in the world. I've been in there with a lot of world-class MMA people. I've sparred people like David Branch, that's kind of up his alley, way bigger, way heavier, way better. Um, I'm not worried about Chris at all. I'm taking it seriously. I'm doing my due diligence on what I need to do to train. I'm treating him like he's gonna knock me out. That's why I'm training. But at the end of the day, it should be an easy night. That's it. Boxing, 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 boxing. That's my plan. I haven't been in there for a while. I'm gonna go box his ears off. That's it.
Hey, look, your focus is definitely Chris, but look, in that Chris Avila package, you get Nate Diaz as well. Do you expect him to maybe kick off during the press conference? Or is that an active goal of yours to maybe try to rile him up? I'm hearing rumors, and people are hearing rumors that Nate does want to box there. That might be someone who you could find yourself in the ring down the line with.
Yes, Nate's already engaged with me a little bit on social media. I baited him enough to where he has. I do think that I'm going to keep that going because that's helpful to me. If and when I win, um, that could be the next big thing. I don't think Nate Diaz would be on a Misfits card. People like him and Tyrone Woodley usually price themselves out to the point where it makes it look like we're not good enough, but they just want too much, which they have a name, so it makes sense. But I'm entirely certain after I beat Chris in a dominant fashion, Mams will let me go fight Nate on his own promotion, whoop his ass, and bring the win back home to Misfits. Very simple. I'm not worried about Nate at all. Chris is my main focus. Nate is a bit more funny and engaging, so it's a bit easier to talk a little shit to him. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's a fight. Like I'm not worried about it. It's 4 rounds. It's not nothing new. You know what I mean? I've gone 8 rounds with a pro that I had was a world title contender. I outboxed the hell out of him, dropped him a few times. Like I can fight when I want to fight. I can box. I can definitely box. So that's just what it is.
Paul, I'll get some thoughts from you before I bring it back to yourself on a couple of other topics. First of all, KSI has now announced he's taking on Joe Fournier. Bit of a mixed reaction regarding Joe Fournier as the opponent. What's your feelings on it?
I think what they're doing is smart. They're getting him ready for Jake Paul. Hopefully, Jake Paul ends up fighting him. I think that there's levels to stuff in boxing. Like KSI, he's a musician, he's a YouTuber. So the fact that he's putting this much into his career is remarkable at that. And you don't want to move anybody too fast. I think they've been moving him the right way. And this next fight for him is a big step up, and he knows that. And I think he's doing everything he needs to do to come out victorious. He's fighting, well, not fighting, but he's sparring with people like Idris Virgo. He's a 12-0 pro. We've seen the clinic that he gave to Anthony. So he's like, he has good people in his camp that's only going to push him to be better. So shout out KSI. I definitely think he's going to take that.
There was a showdown online before the showdown in the ring between KSI Joe Fournier. That was with KSI, Mams Taylor, and Wade Clemens. A bit of a tag team versus one member, I guess. That got the community stirred up there. It's sorted itself out now, but in the midst of that chaos, Paul, what were you thinking?
Of with Joe and KSI?
No, with KSI, Mams, and Wade.
Oh, I'm not really sure. From what I know of all three of them, that they're all really three good guys that keep their word and all that. I know friendships sometimes get a bit misconstrued at times, and people bump heads. So I didn't really think too much of it. I think at the end of the day, we're all men. We're all good men, and we sort things out on our own. Sometimes it's shitty that things get out in the open in the public and things get a bit misconstrued. But I think, like I said, Mams is a stand-up guy. He helped me out tremendously from what happened with Global Titans. KSI owns a piece of the company too, so big on that. Wade always treats me well. So I just think that it's not really my concern. It's three good guys to me. That's my take on it.
Are you keeping an eye on this Kingpin tournament as well?
No, not really. I'm cool with Tom Zanetti. I like Tom Zanetti, so I'm hoping he pulls it off and wins. I think who's he fighting? I think he fights Jarvis the first round. I think he'll knock him out. I think King Kenny's in there too. If he throws more punches, I see him being a huge problem for people because he's very technically inclined. That's about it, though. I'm not too much into it, no. I think that they asked me the other day what I thought about Gibb and Anthony Taylor. I think Anthony Taylor would beat the crap out of Gibb, in my opinion.
And the other thing I want to ask you as well is this creator clash is happening, and Froggy Fresh has been apparently banned from this. What do you know about that? And what's your take on that too, if you've heard about that?
I've been training, so I don't really know. I seen that on Twitter a bit this weekend. I think with creator boxing or like the crossover boxing scene, influencer boxing scene, I think that drama incites things for better or worse. So the more emotion you can evoke from people right while you're building up a fight, it's always a good thing. A lot of people will watch to be nosy of the outcome. A lot of people will watch because they're upset, or a lot of people will watch because they want to support. And these are all three groups of people that are gonna, buy tickets and tune in. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I'm not really too familiar with Froggy Fresh or the Creator Crash, though, if I'm being honest.
Fair enough. Now, bringing this back to yourself, look, Avila beat Taylor. Your plan is to get rid of Chris, and then that opens up a anti-Taylor fight, right?
Yeah, I don't really know how I feel about the Anthony Taylor fight anymore. I'm not a bully. I enjoy talking a little bit of crap when people talk crap, but after a while, if I feel like it's just if someone's whole entire demeanor changes when I come around, like I don't want to be known as that type of guy, so I feel a little bad. If it happens, it happens. I'm all for it. I think once I get through Chris, it will be pretty obvious what will happen with Anthony and myself fighting. But Anthony's a great guy. At the end of the day, if we get to compete, I'll beat him up. If we don't get to compete, like I said, he's a great guy, and I look forward to him being the best he could be in his career.
I leave the final word with you then. April 21st, Paul Bamba versus Chris Avila. What can we expect to see from you, Paul, in the ring on that night?
I plan on showing up. I'm entirely certain it's going to be fight of the night. I think there's bad blood a little bit. I think I'm hoping from this conversation that this guy's sleeping on me. If it's a stay active fight, I mean, hopefully he stays active. One thing I do know about me, and everyone knows about me, is you can look it up on my record. I could punch. So that's literally something he'll have to look out for because he can't punch. He doesn't knock people out. If you're gonna go to distance with the amount of experience you have with a doctor, no offense, but I'm just saying it's a doctor. He's boxing, but he's a doctor. Like he's not a full-time fighter, right? So if you can't take someone out like that, you're not taking Anthony out. You haven't really knocked anyone out. This is boxing. It's 10-ounce gloves. It's not the little 2-ounce gloves that you're used to throwing one big shot and getting someone out of there. I'm gonna be coming all 4 rounds, all 3 minutes of all 4 rounds. If I could take him out, I'm gonna take him out. If I just got to box the entire time to secure the W, that's what we're doing. I'm very composed. I'm very mentally fit. I have my mental fortitude is crazy, so I'm not worried about anything that I stop. My coach thinks that I stop. He gets me out. If not, it will just be a long night for him looking stupid. Like I said, unless he threw the mic fight and the impacts. I know what footwork is. I know what range is. I know I have this thing called head movement. I don't just stand there and get hit because I'm a tough guy. The name of the game is to hit and not get hit, you know? So he can be tough. He can be all these things. Shout out to him. I think he's a great guy. I appreciate him for the opportunity. Somebody's got to go. That's it. That's my take on it. Be it me or him, it really doesn't matter to me. It just matters that I go out there and I'm able to do my thing. It's what I love. It's what I'm here for, and it's it's what put food in my stomach when I didn't have anything else. So I have a greater appreciation for it, and it's something I take very seriously.
Well, speaking to you has got me looking forward to the fight, April 21st, Paul Bamba versus Chris Avila. Very much looking forward to it. Paul, pleasure speaking to you. Thank you for joining me on Seconds Out, and we'll speak very soon.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you.